Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad that all of you have attended. And the first thing I'd like to do is introduce Connie Kinswater. And Connie is the president of Friends of the Library of Collier County, who is with us today by Zoom. I would like to review briefly a letter I just sent Connie. Dear Connie, our computer club. Connie, are you're unmuted, right?
I'm unmuted, correct.
Okay, great. Our computer club, Naples Mug, greatly appreciates the services that the Naples Regional Branch Collier County's library system makes available to our club's members. To continue demonstration that Naples Mug appreciates this support for our club, we would like to make a donation to Friends of the Library for your use in promoting and continuing the programs of the Friends. I sent Connie a check, which you should have received, for $2,500. This check is $500 more than our support last year. Naples Mug sincerely thanks Friends of the Library for being there. Naples Mug anticipates many more beneficial years working with the Friends of the Library and the staff at CCPL to maintain the Naples Regional Branch as an outstanding location for our meeting. And we really thank you very much, Connie. And I'll now hand the microphone over to you.
Thank you very much. First of all, we really appreciate the financial support of your group. And we do use our funds, as you know, to provide programs for the Friends. We also do some other things too, right there at Naples Regional Library. That's where our Friends of the Library office is. And we also have a terrific genealogy room there, and we support that 100%. So all the stuff that's in there is stuff that we supply each year. We get updated things for that. But Naples Regional is, of course, our home base. And for those of you that may or may not know, it's just an interesting little bit of history in that Naples Women's Club started many years ago, started a little free lending library. And then from there, someone decided that we needed a real library, and that was early Naples, and they raised the money to buy the land that Naples Regional sits on, and then they raised the money to build that library. That predates Collier County Public Library System. It predates the Collier County Commissioner System. So we were the original, where you meet is the original library in Naples, and it was at that time, the Friends, of course, owned it, and there weren't any other libraries. Well, that has changed, and of course, the system has grown. But we still own the land underneath that library, and so it can never be torn down and have condos built or anything like that. But we operate entirely on donations and fundraising. That's the only way that we get money. So thank you again for you Mac users. I'm not a Mac user, I'm sorry to say, but I have a lot of friends that are Mac users. And I'm glad that you're able to meet there, and Kenneth Hardcastle is just a great guy. Every time we have a signature series there or any other event there, he's there to help, and I appreciate always that too. So unless you have any questions for me, I just want to say thank you, and your money will be put to good use.
Due to the COVID-19 virus, we will continue, as we will even when we're back at the library, our meetings on Zoom. We have something very exciting to announce, is that because of COVID-19 and because so many of us are stuck in our homes and are trying to stay well, we will continue to have meetings on Zoom through July and August. And I will review those for a second. The first meeting will be next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we'll basically review the WWDC, the Worldwide Developer Conference that Apple just had and is having currently. And we'll review that. Jeff Moore will review everything about the Mac computer, the new operating system, the Mac OS Big Sur, and Mitch will review all of the iOS, Apple phone, Apple Watch, iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch. Also, on July the 15th, and you'll receive announcements from me for all of these meetings. On July 15th and August 12th, we will have primarily questions and answer meetings, and those meetings will be directed and run by Marty Dorio, and I have sent out one notice on that, and I will send out additional notices, and please email your questions, if possible, to Marty prior to the meeting. This week's meeting, oh, by the way, I'd like to welcome everybody from all over the United States. Our friends from Australia have decided that since our topic is primarily related to the United States and not Australia, that they would take this night to sleep. It's now 2 a.m. in Australia, and our friends from Australia are not with us, but will be with us for future meetings, but have decided to get a full night's sleep tonight. Kenneth, the public service librarian, Kenneth Hardcastle, is with us today. We had a meeting last year with Kenneth. We worked with Kenneth to reserve the room, and he's a very great asset to us at Naples Mug. And I'd like to welcome Kenneth, and he'll review what he's going to review. Thank you. It's all yours, Kenneth.
Hello, everybody. How you doing today? I'm going to be talking to you about our digital resources available to you with your library card at the Collier County Public Library. So I'm just going to jump right in and show you our website. So come with me on a screen sharing journey. Everybody see it? Or
yes, we do.
Great, thanks. All right, so this is the library's website. You'll see we'll be closed on July 4th. And you have a whole lot of different menus here. You can support the library here. You can see the friends of the library over here. Thanks, Connie. Thanks for your kind words as well. So anyway, we've got the downloads and streaming menu right here on the right. Ebooks, streaming movies, e-magazines and newspapers, and e-articles. And we're gonna go into detail on all of those. But let me show you how to get to our long list of resources. You go to Find It and go to Research. And this page is kind of where all the resources live all together. So from the top, first we have the Ask a Librarian. We have Ask a Librarian. And on the right, you have an Ask Us menu. So that's how you can access us anytime. Anytime we're open, and ask us any sort of question you think of, and we'll use our resources to get it for you, to try to get you an answer. So that's really helpful, and that's something new that we started doing back in March. And we also have how-tos over here, the green menu. It's a list of tutorials that you can use to access get basic instruction in any of these databases. So definitely make use of those options.
Excuse me a second. Am
Yes.
I the only one just seeing you, Ken? Does anyone else see Ken's screen?
I can see it.
I can see it.
See it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I can see it.
All right. Just wanted to make sure. All right, go ahead. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
All right. So yeah, over here, the green how-to menu allows you to learn more about most of the databases that I'm going to be giving you an overview of. So that's a good place to go for more information. Okay, reference collections. Obviously, we have collections inside the branch that are good for reference that may be able to help, and staff inside the branch that may be able to direct you appropriately. And you can always contact me, Kenneth Hardcastle, at phone number 239-252-5123, or kenneth.hardcastle@colliercountyfl.gov. I'll show you my, I'll leave my business card up in the screen when I'm done with the presentation. So, okay, so scrolling down, we have genealogy. Now, at the Naples Regional Library specifically, we have a large genealogy collection of physical materials you can come in and look at. And it has also a microfilm machine, which will allow you to see a microfilm machine that allows you to see the Naples Daily News for the last approximately 70 years. And also the New York Times, although that's kind of in a lot of places and doesn't get a lot of use here. But yeah, the Naples Daily News, we have a lot of options for that, and an obituary index as well. So most commonly, we use that resource for looking up obituaries for people who died around here. And on our website, we have an obituary index that you can pull up and see if a person you might be interested in, if their name is in our records. So that is one major tool that gets a lot of use. We also have a link on our website to several genealogical websites from across the nation. Genealogical Society of Collier County, Lee County Genealogical Society, Florida, and then a lot of useful places to start research if you're interested in looking up your ancestry or similar things. And we'll go in, so that's just a link of several websites that are available, but we'll go into some of the databases that we pay for or that the Friends of the Library pay for as a supplement to that. All right, so now we've hit the list of e-resources. The ones that you're most likely to be interested in, we have Overdrive, Libby, and Cloud Library for ebook and e-audiobooks. We have Hoopla for streaming video services, as well as it also does music, graphic novels, books, ebooks, audiobooks. So Hoopla kind of is a catch-all. Does a lot of the popular browsing. We have Mango, which is language learning. If you want to learn French or Spanish or German, Chinese, it has options for all these. And 70 other languages besides. Flipster is our e-magazine resource. So it has popular magazines, and you can read them all like you would a magazine, just clicking right to turn the page, clicking left to turn back, and everything is fully hyperlinked. So that's a really cool resource. And is there another one that's really important? And then the other one is going to be mainly Ancestry. which I will go over and take a look at for anybody who's interested in genealogy. So let's start with those resources. We'll start with Cloud Library. This is a ebook and e-audiobook resource. And so to log in, all you have to do is enter your library card. We don't need to do that right yet. So you see right here a whole list of browsing titles. You can also search over here in the upper right-hand corner. Search for a particular title you're interested in. So let's say we want After Anna by Lisa Scottolini. Then it gives you can click on that. It gives you a description, and you can log in to check it out. And there's also audiobooks on here. So the ones with the headphones are audiobooks. You can download those and listen instead. Now, with all of these devices, with all these ones that I just pointed out, Mango, Libby, Flipster, Cloud Library, Hoopla, they're all apps. So you can download those in your app store and then just connect to them by telling them basically Collier County Public Library, enter your library card number. And then they're pretty easy to use from there. Libby and Cloud Library are both make it easy to check out the ebooks. So yeah, let's go ahead and log in and show you kind of what that interface looks like. So that one's got a hold on it. Bit of a wait time with some of these sometimes. Filter to available now, see what's around. There's all sorts of filters, settings you can set to make it easier for you to find what you want. Let's borrow this book. So you just click on read. If you're doing it in an app, it'll just take you there and you can navigate between the library and the books on your shelf, or even multiple libraries. If you are a member of multiple libraries that have access to the same resource, they might have access to different books within that. You know, one library buys different books on Cloud Library than ours might. So here we are. You click to the right to turn the page. Dedication, table of contents. You can skip right to chapter 12, see what you like. And you can even bookmark a page, which the point of bookmarking is if you want to particularly go back and reference. The app will automatically keep whatever page you were on as you flip through. So you can go straight back to chapter 12 in that particular case. Thank you. And then Libby is going to be much the same way. The reason we have two is you can't get some books on both. So you might have to download Cloud Library to read a particular book and then download Libby to read a different one. That's just what we got right now, and we'll see what happens. Checking in on any questions so far.
We do have a question from Marcia. Marcia, can you unmute yourself and ask the question that you asked in the chat?
Hi. Can you hear me, Kenneth?
I can.
Okay. I I live in California and I don't have a library card for your library. And to do most of these resources you're talking about, do I need to have a library card from your library to get online and do all these different things?
Yes, for most of the resources I'm going to discuss, you will need a library card from Collier County Public Library. However, a local library near you likely has access to these resources or something very similar. So just get a library card from them and you'll be able to use something like what I'm showing you.
And even the genealogy, I'd still need a card to go into your genealogical library, right?
Yes.
Resource. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone here.
Okay, we also have a question from Alan. Alan, can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Do I have to have some kind of application downloaded ahead of time? Or if I click on a book, will it just download whatever application that book needs automatically?
You will need to, so if you're using an app, you'll need to get the app ahead of time. So that will be either, well, depending on what you want to do, but with Libby and Cloud Library, you just get, you download the app ahead of time, you go onto the app and look for the book that you want.
Okay, so in other words, I need an app called Libby or whatever else it is. If I just click on the book without downloading the app, what will happen?
So if you, so you could also do this with Libby and Overdrive, Overdrive is the parent company of Libby. And with Cloud Library, you can connect on your computer. So I'm on a computer right now, obviously. And if you click on the book, like I did, it'll prompt you to log in with your library card number, and then you'll be able to check it out and just start reading it on the computer. So that's what I was doing a moment ago.
Okay, I'm not making myself clear. I do not have any of these apps on my machine now, but I do have a library card. So if I click on a book, and will it say your first chapter download the app, or will it automatically download the app for me?
So if you're coming at it from a web browser, on a computer or on a mobile device, then you will be able to just go to. It won't download the app for you. You can do it on a web browser and read the book on a web browser. Although it's easier in the app if you just go ahead and get the app first. Okay. All right. So that is the simple overview of Cloud Library. Let's go back to the list of resources and pick out Flipster. Okay, so Flipster takes you to a variety of magazines. The one that I always like to use on here is Consumer Reports. So let's take a look there. When I had to get a new computer or a new washer and dryer, this is always going to be my first stop.
Can you answer a question while we're waiting for that?
Yeah.
James Corsica, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hi, Jane.
How long do you have the audiobooks for when you download them?
Sure. So it's a preference you set. And I believe it changes between Cloud Library and Libby, but it's 2 or 3 weeks.
And in the movies, are they high definition?
I haven't gone over Hoopla yet, but I'm not
Okay,
certain.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if you were going to talk to that or not.
I don't have an answer to that one.
All right. Thank you.
I would kind of doubt it. All right, so it's not letting me into Flipster. It's not ideal.
And while we're waiting, I have another very interesting question from Carol. Carol, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
You're asking me, Carol Fortledge? Yes.
Yes.
I do a lot of borrowing of e-materials, and I find that in answer to the question asked previously, you can browse your library catalog through any of those services, check out the item, and then later, in an hour, download the app and go back to get your materials. Maybe we can get confirmation from the speaker on that, but I find that works in the Sumter Library as well as some Ohio ones.
So you
All right,
can
thank
check, you're saying you check the book out on the website
Of the library.
and
Mhm.
go to your app and check it out there and continue reading it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. And Heidi, can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Yes, I'm not currently in Naples, but I would like to use the Naples Library. I am there in the winter, but I don't have a card. Is there a way to get a library card online or from a distance?
Yes. So you can do remote, you can get a remote library card during the crisis right now. And you just go to the library's website and sign up here on Get a Card. So register now for a temporary library card that allows you access to some online resources.
Okay, so would it be online resources such as the Cloud Library and Libby?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's skip over Flipster since it's not letting me in right now and take a look at Hoopla. So as you see on here, I do some reading on Hoopla. So it's another option for ebook lenders as an ebook lender. And you can also, so it has movies, music, comics, ebooks, and television series. It recently adopted a whole lot of the BBC catalog. So you can see a lot of British mysteries and television shows like that. So you see a variety of options here. Let's click on borrow and borrow one of those. And just hit play. And then, just right away, you can be watching Hercule Poirot. So there's a lot of options on Hoopla as well. It's one of the most flexible. The difference, one of the difference in ebooks between Hoopla and the other ones that I was just talking about is that Cloud Library and Libby have basically a limit on the number of copies we buy, or we buy a certain number of virtual copies, and then people can't check out more than one at a time. So that means there can be a long waiting list for some of those items. Over here on Hoopla, there is no waiting list. Instead, it's kind of a subscription service, free through the library. But you can get 10 items. You can check out 10 items on Hoopla every month. And there's certain items, especially right now, that are free borrows, popular things sometimes, or things they have certain rights to, like Harry Potter books are free to check out right now. Well, they're all free to check out, but they don't count against your monthly borrows. So that's one thing about Hoopla, is if there's a popular item on it, you can always check it out. It just counts against your monthly borrows. All right. Yeah.
Can you take a question?
Yeah.
Sophia, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you fine, yes.
Okay, I was wondering if Collier County extended borrowing privileges to other libraries. So I looked on the internet and see what I saw is that Collier County Library is a member in the Southwest Florida Library Member Group. I may not have the name, the title exactly right, but it said that people with cards from the Collier County Library could borrow from other libraries, and there was a list, and Lee County is on it. It didn't say specifically that Lee County could borrow from Collier, but I need to go to the right place, I think, to answer that question. But that's what I was wondering, is if the Lee County library card holders could borrow from the Collier Library. But it did say that Collier County library holders could borrow from Lee, and a long list of other libraries too.
So yes, it's the Southwest Florida Library Network, SWFLN.
Okay.
And what the deal is with that is you can basically come in and get a sticker on your card saying you're a member in good standing at another library. Like,
yes.
You're a member in good standing at another library. And so you are eligible to use our databases or get a library card with us. So that does allow you access. You can take your, just bring in your Collier County library card to us, and you get a sticker on it, and then you can go over to Lee County or other participating counties in the Southwest Florida Library Network, schools as well, university libraries, and then you get then you can get a card or use their resources in whatever way they prescribe.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Can I have a question about that? Is it possible now, because of COVID-19, will the same benefit be extended, that now that we can register at a distance, will that same benefit be registered in order to use the sister libraries in the network?
No, now that's kind of a case-by-case basis. Depends on some libraries, maybe, like our library's pretty liberal with allowing people to make the temporary cards I mentioned. But some other library systems may not be. So you just have to, if you're interested in a different system, just call them up and see what they're offering right now.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else with questions? All right, I don't see any hands. It's all yours, Ken.
Use mango as a guest.
Keita, excuse me. I have an answer though. All the things that are available at Collier County Library are available at Lee County Libraries also, right online, same way. The site looks a little different, but essentially it's all the same. So there's no reason for anybody from Lee County to really go to Collier. but whatever you want. Just thought you'd like to know.
All right. Thank you, Joan.
Okay.
All right. All right. All yours, Ken.
All right, Mango. So here's Mango. Pick a language. Let's pick a language to learn. Let's do Japanese. So you can log in as a guest with your library card number, or you can make an account, which is free through Collier County Public Library, and just start right away. So it's a comprehensive language learning program. Like Rosetta Stone or things like that. And it includes audio, video, writing, reading, all the, the major parts of language. So let's just pick up one of the, I have to keep moving you guys around. Okay, so skip tutorial. Let's just get into it.
Listen to the following conversation.
こんにちは。いい天気ですね。
Yep.
本当に観光ですか?
そうです。
Yeah. And so they're having a conversation. You probably didn't hear it on my computer because I didn't check that box. But yeah, so you were hearing the conversation as it was happening. And then, you'd have programs and questions based on that to enhance your own understanding. So that's just another resource that we allow you to have access to. I'm going to try Flipster one more time because it's just so cool.
All right, while you're doing that, John Lane, can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please? John Lane, hi. There you are. No? All right, I'm going to ask John Lane's question since he won't ask it. Can I use Hoopla through the library on my Apple Air to watch British programs on my smart TV?
Tricky question. I believe you can, but there's kind of a lot of unknowns in there. I'm not certain if it works with each of those steps, but you can use it on smart TVs. You just by going through the website or by downloading the app if the TV can take apps. And you can also cast it. So I sounds like that should work to my knowledge.
I have an answer to that.
Yeah.
This is Mary Condon Rohr. I have used Hoopla to watch British TV on my Apple TV.
Great, thank you, Mary.
Fantastic.
All right. Okay, do you want another question or would you like to proceed, Kenneth?
I'll go ahead and proceed right now. We'll just abandon Flipster for the moment. But trust me, when it works, it's really cool. And it has a whole lot of popular magazines. Consumer Reports is mainly the one that I use, but lots of different options. Okay, so moving on. Now we'll just go down the list and talk about these resources one by one and what they are. So Academic Onefile on the top here is a academic journal search database. So you can go on there and browse research material and scholarly information about whatever topic you might have in mind. Always really good for research questions. American Ancestors is another ancestry database, but let's go into Ancestry. And take a look there. So many of you might be familiar with this screen, the basic Ancestry search page. So it has access to census records. It has access to birth, death, marriage, military, land, property taxes, and all sorts of interesting things like that for the aspiring genealogist. Let's just go to the search page and search for, something generic like John Smith in 1874, New York. And we have a variety of records from a variety of sources: census, draft, lots of draft registration cards, National Guard rolls. And you can narrow it down even further by filtering what exact thing you want to search for, or search in, locations, dates. So that's an option, and a very powerful tool for anybody looking into their history or somebody else's history. We're not picky. Brainfuse. So Brainfuse is a help site, tutoring and testing. So that one does so Help Now is a study resource. So it has live tutoring experts that can help you or maybe a grandchild with their homework, something like that. It has an online writing lab where you can submit a piece of writing and they'll give you feedback, editing tips. Skill Surfer, library of lessons of how to do math, how to improve your writing, that sort of thing. So it has a lot of options on here. And then there's also Brainfuse Job Now, right here, that shows you a lot of job search help options. So career counseling, resume writing, interview coaching. So that's a resource. That's another resource that we have access to. Creativebug is a arts and crafts database. So you can go on there and search for just how to, just cool crafts to make, basically. We use that a lot for our own purposes, making crafts, often for kids programming, but there's lots of crafts that are oriented for adult interests as well. Demographics Now is a database of US Census data. So if we just go look at that and can find lots of fascinating reports and easy charts and maps about US Census information. So if we just get these things out of the way, yeah, so it is a tool you have to think about how you want to use it. But let's just type in the local zip code 34103, Naples, Florida. Yeah. I didn't come prepared for this one, but it is a very powerful tool that searches the U.S. Government information and gives you local demographic data. All right. Digital Public Library of America is and it's just a popular website, or not. So it has a dp.la, Digital Public Library of America. It has images, text, sounds, government documents, primary sources, powerful things from all across the country. So they have displays, so influenza pandemic from 1918, American aviatrixes, women with wings. So those are some exhibits going on right now. It's a kind of a cross between a library and a museum. It has a lot of good information on here, just powerful for research and personal interest. It's also very topical. For instance, when the impeachment stuff was going on a few months ago, it had the whole transcripts of everything that was relevant, as well as a lot of different perspectives on the question of impeachment. So this has a lot of useful and interesting information that is current and relevant. Florida Electronic Library, that one's provided by the State Library of Florida. So it's just a bunch of databases and helpful resources for local information and research. So search magazines, books, and newspapers with a general search term right here. It always thinks we're the Miami-Dade Public Library System for some reason. And that you can browse resources in different genres as well, whatever you're interested in. So.
Ken, can you take a question?
Yeah.
All right, Bill Neese, can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please? Bill, are you there? Len Medina, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Okay, hi Kenneth.
Hello.
When you talk about Hoopla and Overdrive and Libby and all of those, is there any rhyme or reason to what books each one has? Like one would have older books, one would have newly published, anything like that?
Nothing general that's easy to state. Some are just not available on one platform or the other. And another reason we might get one on one and not the other is if we have certain money earmarked for a particular resource. But generally speaking, to be a well-read, if you want to read a good variety of material, you'll end up getting all three.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And Hoopla, like I mentioned, is easier for the popular books. Now, it doesn't frequently have all the popular books, at least available to us at any given moment. But if there is one, you don't have a waiting list for it. So Hoopla is good for that.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Merge and Intellect is for company research. So let's type in McDonald's, see what they're up to right now. And there's lots of different companies that might have McDonald in the name, but McDonald's Corporation is going to be the big one. And so it gives you a basic synopsis of the company. You can click on to learn financial details, information about the executives, right here. All sorts of useful information that you might use for market research or your own information with stocks or this is a good way to do research if you're interested in any of that kind of thing. All right.
We do have a question from Bill Neese. Bill,
Yep.
Can you please go ahead?
Yeah, sorry. I was using an iPad as well, and I was tapping my screen, couldn't get it undone.
Okay.
When you're using the language programs you mentioned sometimes back, it takes years to learn a language for some of us. How long do you get to use those?
It's unlimited.
It's just an online use?
Yep.
It's not something you can download and carry around on your device?
Can Mango be downloaded? I'm not certain. I would have to look into that. But if you email me or call me, I can figure it out for you.
Thank you.
And that is so there is one limitation of Mango is that it's whatever there's only so many lessons they put on there. So that is you might eventually master everything they have on there and have to look somewhere else to keep learning the language. But you can use it forever. There's no limitation on that. At least until we decide to buy a different database.
Okay, go ahead. I don't see any more questions.
Okay. And then just a couple more to go over here. So Newsbank is a newspaper database. That provides news from all over the world. And you can even search by, so you can browse popular topics, presidential race, education, politics, STEM, sports, and see what articles are going on now. You can also just search by location. So pull up the locator map and say, I want to look at newspapers from Nebraska. And click on the 48 sources there. And see the range and the general location it covers, the date range. So we have the Ashland Gazette from 2009 to present. If we click on that, we can see what they have available. So it looks like we have certain days available of it. June 17th, most recent one. And you see the local news from that area. So this is a way to be well read about what's going on all over the country and various levels of government, local, state, general, various types of media. All kinds of newspapers are represented on here. And you'll see and you can find out all about them. Newspaper Archive is only available for in-library use, but it offers so certain dates of older publications. So for the Naples Daily News, for instance, we have it from 1970 to 1977, and it is the full newspaper. So it's just a full digital rendition of the newspaper. It makes me look really smart when somebody wants something from exactly 1970 to 1977 from the Naples Daily News. It also has a whole lot of other, not just the Naples Daily News, it has the Bonita Daily News. It has, well, so those are the local ones. Those are the two most local to where we are, but it's got newspapers from all over the country. And it's just a really powerful tool as long as what you want falls in there. And finally, Novelist is the best resource I have access to for popular reading advice. So if you go on here, you can say, I want books that are, you can type in various keywords. You can choose from the keywords that they have available here. You can browse mysteries, horror by regular genres, or by, by any complex thing you might have in your head. You can filter by age levels. And its most powerful use to me is for telling me what's next in the series. So you look at the Stone Barrington novels by Stuart Woods, and it tells you what order they came out in. So New York Dead was the first one, and just it gives you the whole order. Often setting aside little, if there's prequel books or short stories set in the universe, it'll tell you that sort of thing, and just let you know generally what you want to look at reading next. It also gives you similar read-alikes over here on the right. So if you like Stuart Woods, you might like Harlan Coben and his Myron Bolitar mysteries. And then James Patterson, Melinda Lee, Nelson DeMille, etc. So that is the overview of all of our resources. I'm happy to take questions, and I'm happy to drill down too into any of the resources that you're more interested in.
Okay, are there any questions? Okay, Alan Weinstein, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
In the past, the libraries had in-person lectures on a variety of topics, many of which are very interesting. I investigated presenting a lecture on Jackie Robinson and was told I should connect with somebody at the library and set it up for next year, next winter when I'm down there. And I'm kind of ready to do that. What do I do to get connected with somebody to present a lecture on Jackie Robinson? Are you doing it virtually these days or anything like that?
We're not doing, so we're doing virtual programming, and it's just our own. So you can go to our Facebook page to see what we're doing with that. You will contact me if you're interested in giving a presentation here once we get that set up, once we're doing in-person presentations again, which is not yet and probably won't be for a while. But here's my information. Kenneth Hardcastle, and I'll leave this up or just type it into the chat myself once. I'll go ahead and do that right now.
Okay, now when I do contact you, it's a keynote presentation. Do you have keynote? Do you want to see the whole presentation? Do you want to see just a summary? I mean, what do you really want?
We can talk about that when you email me.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, James Corsica, can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Kenneth, Ancestry.com, does that link to the Ellis Island website?
I'm not sure. So let's take a look at it. I seem to recall seeing something like that. Yeah, I seem to recall seeing something like that before. But go ahead and email me. I did just put that information in the chat, and we can research it further.
Okay.
Hi, this is Sophie. Can you hear me?
I can.
I actually went to Ellis Island and had limited time, but was using their site there. And actually on your list, Ellis Island was the last thing listed on the list. It was on there. What you showed earlier that was available. Did you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you.
Okay. And when I had to leave before I got all the information I wanted, the lady said that what we access remotely is the same thing that they have there. All the information they have is on that site.
Can you tell me where I was when you saw it?
You had a list. I can't think of what the beginning of the list was. I don't know if it was Cloud Library. I don't know what it was, but one of the lists that you put up a little while ago, I just don't remember the heading, but Ellis Island was on it as a database that is available.
Okay. Well, you probably have access to something like that. But yeah, contact me if you're interested, and I will let you know.
Okay, Carol, do you have a question that you would like to ask? If so, unmute yourself and ask your question. Carol Fortledge?
I'm there, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
The question is there a state library of Florida that is accessible to individuals? And if so, is it separate from yours, or do we go through Collier or another local library?
So the State Library of Florida, let me pull that up. So the Florida Electronic Library, let me take a look really quick and see if it's available. Have you, so can anybody try to access this website, flelibrary.com? Because all my computers here are here, and it knows that we're affiliated with them. But if anybody can try it and see if you can access this website, because I believe this website is just available for everybody to access.
Okay, I'll let you know if I hear from anyone, or if anyone does access the website, please unmute yourself and let Ken know.
Yes,
Well, I connected to it, and I see the same thing you see, except mine says out-of-state visitor.
All right. Are you out of state, Marty?
No,
That's Jim. Here. That's James. We have two people talking right now. Let's do Marty first.
I accessed it fine.
Okay,
I accessed
Jim.
it fine.
Okay, Jim.
I put in that URL. I have the Florida Electronic Library, and it instead of saying Miami-Dade Public Library, it says out-of-state visitor. I'm in Michigan.
Okay. So yes, this is accessible, not just through us. And there may be certain permissions depending on where you're located. But you should have access to it.
I get the impression for some searches you may have to authenticate, which means you probably have to have an ID or something. I could probably enter the barcode from my library here in Michigan and see what happens.
Okay. Okay, it is 12:36, Ken.
So yeah, well, any other questions I can answer? Let's see.
John Lane, can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please? John is on. John, are you okay? You're on your iPad, I know. And I can't unmute you, so you have to unmute yourself.
How's that?
That's great.
Okay, sorry about that again. Can I use Hoopla through the library and my Apple Air to watch the British programs on my smart TV with an HDMI cable or something like that?
Yes, somebody in the conversation earlier confirmed that works. Yes.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. That's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions? Len, unmute yourself and ask your question, please. Len, I see your hand raised. And Len Medini? There you go.
Sorry, I thought I had unmuted and I'm asking the question.
Okay, go ahead.
So in Collier County, they have Flipster, and in Lee County, they have RB Digital. Are they basically the same thing?
I'm not familiar with RB Digital myself, so I'm not sure what exactly they have, but well, maybe I'll be able to pull up Flipster on this iPad and see what.
I was just curious if one has access to more magazines or anything. For instance, RB Digital has access to Acorn TV, so you can get Acorn TV for free.
RB Digital is also a streaming service, isn't it?
Well, to a certain extent, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, Flipster is just for magazines.
Okay.
Then there are certainly some sites that have like our Hoopla that do a whole lot of different options.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Joan, can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Okay. It's not a question, it's an answer. I would say that RB Digital has a lot of magazines, not necessarily the same. I don't think they have Consumers Reports, but they have several Mac magazines, amongst other things, and just generally a good selection. And it does have, it's a broad-based thing such as Hoopla, but we have Hoopla too. I think that, you know, those people from Lee County should, that have library cards, and that you can get easily, should access the site and see what's available to them. Some of the things are the same, some of them are different, but generally it's an excellent site.
And I also wanted to say that it's not just a matter of what database you have. So they have RB Digital, we have Flipster, but they might also, so sometimes due to licensing stuff, that database doesn't have any sort of access to that magazine, but sometimes it's also a question of what we have purchased on that database. So it may be possible for us to get a particular magazine that you're interested in if you just let us know, and we can set up a subscription for that the next time we get a chance. I also managed to pull up Flipster on here, so I'm seeing if we can get, seeing if I can just kind of illustrate it for you in the screen. So I was thinking about it, but looks like Alan has a question.
Yeah, I'm a little blown away by all these different apps that people are talking about to get to different places. I don't have any of these apps on my machine. And I keep asking this question over and over again. My simple question is, I want to listen to an audiobook. I have nothing on my computer. I simply want to listen to one audiobook one time just to try it out and see if any of it works. So I go to your site, I find the audiobook, I click on it, and without having any apps downloaded at all, just going to your site with your library card, I double click on the audiobook, and what happens?
So you'll click on the book and you'll have an option to check it out and start listening to it from your computer.
Without any app on my computer at all?
You don't need apps.
So what is the advantage of having the app on my computer?
If you make a habit of it, it's a lot easier to do it. And it depends on the computer you have, but you won't, they don't often have apps, but you may be able to do it. But apps are mainly for using on a smaller resource or a mobile device like this one.
Because I have a rather old iMac with only has High Sierra. It doesn't go any higher than High Sierra. So I try not to use any apps that I don't have to use because many of them don't work on High Sierra.
Yep, and you don't need an app. You don't need an app, although it makes it easier for repeated use, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, I think. But
okay, thank you.
That's what it's for.
All right, last question. James Corsica, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yeah, Kenneth, I just wanted to comment on what you were just talking about with Alan. For me, the difference between doing it through the browser and doing it through an app is that the app tends to have more controls that are meaningful. For example, you can listen to an audiobook through the audible.com website, or you can download the Audible app, which has a lot more controls on it. Well, you have a lot more freedom. So I think that maybe clarifies it a little bit for Alan.
Yeah. So yeah, one thing you can do is through an app is like one freedom it gives you is download it to your phone and plug your headphones in and then go for a walk and play the audiobook out on the walk. And you don't have to be connected to the internet to do that. So that's just one example of the sorts of freedoms you might be able to have. But you can just download it from the website and listen to it on the website, and that works. It just may not be the most beneficial way for you to listen to an audiobook, and that just depends on you.
Alan, can I ask Alan a question? Alan, do you have any iDevices? iPhone, iPad?
I have an iPhone, I guess it's an iPhone 11 in addition to this iMac, yes.
That's where you should download the apps to. Don't try them on your computer on High Sierra.
Okay, now on my iPhone, can I try an audiobook on my iPhone just for once and see even before I download the app? And which app should I download if I want to listen to audiobooks primarily?
Is there a particular book you want to listen to?
I don't have a title in mind now, but I would go to the, to your your location and find one that I like. I don't have any in mind in particular.
I would recommend starting with Libby. The app is Libby by Overdrive, but you could just go to our website, click on Overdrive, and choose an audiobook from there to start listening to.
Thank you very much, Kenneth. We really all appreciated this presentation. And don't forget, if you want to have any additional questions, please email or call the library and talk to Kenneth. And he said on many occasions here today that he would be more than happy to hear from you. So, Kenneth, we really appreciate this, and thank you very much.